What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Big Trouble in Little China, directed by John Carpenter, starring Kurt Russell. I'm going to make this review as short and sweet as I possibly can because I love Big Trouble in Little China. I think this movie is ridiculously silly. It makes absolutely no sense, but I love it for it. I love the fact that this movie knows what it is. This movie is a martial arts fantasy movie, and it relishes in the fact that it's completely over the top and goofy. And this movie just has that sense of fun. And that's the big thing that I love about Big Trouble in Little China, is that it's a fun, energetic movie that's led by Kurt Russell, who plays one of his most funniest characters in Jack Burton, who is pretty much like a modern day John Wayne esque of character. And Kurt Russell as Jack Burton, awesome. Kurt Russell's dry sense of humor and the way and his mannerisms in this movie and his John Wayne imitation is utterly fantastic. But what makes Jack Burton so memorable is that yes, the character is inspired by John Wayne, but Kurt Russell makes this his own. He just uses elements of John Wayne's mannerisms and he puts his own little spin on it. And he's fantastic. I love Jack Burton. I love Kurt Russell. I love the humor. The Pork Chop Express. Great stuff. Awesome stuff. Uh, Not only that, Kurt Russell, he's not alone. He's backed by a really solid cast. You have the actor who plays his friend Wang, who I thought was really good in this movie. What's actually really cool about this movie is that when you watch this movie, Wang feels more like a main character, and Jack Burton, in a way, kind of feels like his sidekick. And I kind of like and I kind of like that. This movie is mostly deals with like stuff like from ancient China, and it has a very Chinese aesthetic to it. So having a Chinese actor more or less be a co-lead with Kurt Russell and actually to me hold his own on screen with Kurt Russell and actually have a decent chemistry with them, I enjoyed it. I liked the character of Wang. I thought the character of Wang was really cool, and I thought his scenes where he's doing his martial arts is also really cool as well. A lot of them is really silly since you can tell it's wire work and it looks really really goofy, but it stays in tone with the movie, and I appreciate that. Like this movie is totally consistent. It knows it's silly. It doesn't try to be anything more than what it is. And how can you not appreciate a movie like that? Now, back to the cast. This movie also has Victor Wong, who plays Egg Shen, who is like this ancient Chinese mystic who drives a tour bus. I like Victor Wong. I like him as Egg Shen. He's more or less like a mentor figure, like an elderly wise man type of figure. And I thought he was fine in the role. James Hong plays the villain of Lo Pan. And James Hong as Lo Pan, you can tell this man is just hamming it up as his villain. His whole thing is that he has to sacrifice this woman with green eyes so he can become human again, or something or other. It's a very very convoluted motivation, a very convoluted plot, but that's pretty much what it is. Is that he has to sacrifice this girl with green eyes to get his mortality back. And I thought James Hong in the movie, he was very goofy, he was very over the top. And what's really cool about it is that Lo Pan is actually the inspiration for Shang Tsung. Like Big Trouble in Little China, this movie heavily inspired elements that would go on to form Mortal Kombat. Like Lo Pan is Shang Tsung. Like this movie we see Lo Pan as an old man, then we see him as a much younger man, and that's pretty much the genesis of Shang Tsung's character. There are these three characters known as the Three Storms, who are known as Rain, Thunder, and Lightning, and you can tell that these three characters heavily inspired the design for what would become Raiden. So like Big Trouble in Little China, from a cultural standpoint and from a influential standpoint, it played a big role, pretty much in the foundation of Mortal Kombat, because a lot of the elements with some of those characters pretty much form the basis of what would be Mortal Kombat. That just makes Big Trouble in Little China that much more awesome. Uh, Now there are some actors and characters in this movie who I did not care for. I don't think they did a horrible job, but I don't think they did a stand-up performance. For example, Kim Cattrall plays the character of Gracie Law, who is a lawyer. I know the last name is ridiculous, but she's the overall love interest for Jack Burton, and you can tell that Kurt Russell's acting is overshadowing Kim Cattrall. I don't think Kim Cattrall is a bad actress, but in a lot of scenes she has pretty much the same the same blank stare, and her acting and delivery can be really, really flat. And I don't think her and Kurt Russell have really good on-screen chemistry with one another. I mean, to their credit, they try, but it doesn't work for me. another character. This is a character called Mao Ying, who is actually the love interest for Wang. She's just a plot device to get the ball rolling on the movie. Mao Ying has no character to speak of. She is just there as pretty much the woman in the fridge. She has no character. I mean, I would have liked to know a little bit about Mao Ying before Lo Pan kidnaps her, so I can have some sort of connection to her. But I got nothing. I just know Mao Ying for how Wang feels about her, but I don't know who Mao Ying is as a character at all. She's just a plot device. Though I do like this subtle romance between this character of Eddie and Margot that develops and underline these two supporting characters. I thought that was well done. I thought that was pretty funny to itself. And and I also like the Three Storms. Aside from their inspiration, the Three Storms, who are like thunder, lightning, and rain, I thought they looked absolutely badass. And the way they can control the elements is actually really, really fun. And it all builds up to a very entertaining, over the top climax at the end that is just so much fun and just so full of 80s cheese. You just can't get enough of it. From a production standpoint, this movie is well directed. This is a John Carpenter movie. He can't direct a bad movie if he tried. Cinematography by Dean Cundy. This is a good looking movie. I like the whole Chinese aesthetic, and I think the actual production design of Lopan's like building of office building is really has a really cool design. I love the sets of this movie, particularly when you get to the end where the final battle happens. That whole set underneath Lopan's fortress, it has a really cool design, a very cool aesthetic, and I also like his main office where you see like these Chinese like statues and things like that. Well, looks beautiful. Looks really really good. No complaints whatsoever. And there's also like this monster that appears in Lopan's fortress as well, which you can tell is a guy in a suit. It's really distracting and completely goofy, and I don't think I would have put that in the movie, to be honest with you. I mean, the thing you were not. So yeah, those are overall my thoughts on Big Trouble in Little China. As you can tell, I love this movie. I think this movie is outstanding. It's hilarious. Despite my criticisms for it, Big Trouble in Little China to me gets a solid 8 out of 10. It's a classic. It's 80s cheese to the maximum, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Big Trouble in Little China. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like this video and subscribe, and I will check you back next time for more.